Father's force, and we talk about Father God, Mother God, Child God. Father God, representative of the force of God. Mother God, the wisdom of God. And Child God, the love of God. And so once we begin to understand those triune aspects of God, we can look at life and see Him playing out throughout all aspects of life. And then in our family units, we can see that too. We can see the father figure being that force, and standing forth, and standing forth and being that male action figure in our lives. And then the mother has that wisdom and that intuition, that strong connection with God. And then the love of God being reflected through the children. You know, the children, the innocents when they come to the planet and expressing their unique love, their unique light. And it's a wonderful process, isn't it? And today, Father's Day, we're here to acknowledge fathers, to honor fathers, and to love fathers. And, you know, Father's Day, sometimes it's kind of a bittersweet holiday just because some people have good relationships with their fathers. Some might have not so good relationships, and some may have no relationship. However, whatever category we're in, we have a relationship with our Father. That force is with us always. And if we can begin to just understand that on an energetic level, then we can begin to alter how that force or that energy might be controlling us, implementing our own unique energy to direct the force of God. So to begin to look at it like that's very good. And when I was working with Spirit, some little steps that we could take, real simple words, is to love, let go, and live. If we love, that gives us the insight, the wisdom, and the power to let go. And now when we've let go, we can begin to live our life, the life that we were born to live. Once we begin to understand that the relationships that we have with our parents, with our Father, is important for our soul growth. Here at InnerQuest, we say we chose our parents. And that's kind of a hard concept for a lot of people. But once we begin to expand and understand that we are souls, we come to this planet for a soul journey, and we're all working together. So we're all working together. And we choose our parents so that they give us a foundation for our soul's journey. And each soul has its own journey. And being children, we look at our parents and we put them in that role of father and mother, but we don't see that they're a soul. And they got their cross to bear, or they've got their own path to walk. So as we begin to grow and expand in consciousness, that allows us to begin to accept more, to begin to accept them as a soul. And if we can begin to accept them, then we can begin to love them a little bit more. We can begin to let go of those energies that they might have imparted to us that we were resistant to because we didn't understand them at the time. And once we can come to resolution, then we can really get on with our life. We can get on with our life. And, you know, it's real powerful because you've all heard this saying, haven't you? It's really important to give a girl and a young lady a strong foundation in their own identity so they don't marry their father. You see? That's how much influence our parents have on us. And if we begin to understand how important for us to know who we really are, well, then we can take the energies and the love that they've given us to give us this foundation to walk on, you know, and then be our own individual expression of God on the planet. Loving them, saying thank you, thank you, thank you. Maybe I didn't understand it, but thank you. And then on we go. I struggled with this talk all week. Just, I don't know, with a man, this is pretty, we take responsibility. You know, like, ooh, I'm dad. So we got all this responsibility heaped on us from our ancestors and things like that. And then we judge ourselves and miss the mark. And who am I to stand up and say anything? And, so I'm just praying and meditating every day. And yesterday it's still, you know, I get home after working, meditating, got under the car with lights, got on the chi machine, trying to connect with God. Help me out here, Father. I want to get up and not just bumble. And so, this morning, I get up at 6 o'clock and I come downstairs and meditate. And I'm ready to, let's pull it all together here. What's the thread we're trying to share today, Father? And so I was sitting there, and then it just came to me, after the hours of agony that I spent all week, in a flash, here we go. So it's like, what are our fathers trying to give to us? What are our fathers trying to impart to us? And a lot of times, we don't even pay attention or look at it because it's all about us. And so, here we go. Here's a little snapshot. Y'all know Cindy's dad, not in the physical, but we've heard stories. Cindy's dad was a really cool guy. He was kind of a rugged individualist. He was a survivor. He was he was kind of wild in his approach to life, And so he's got 2 daughters and a son. And so when they're like even 4 or 5 years old, he gives them presents for Christmas, guns. They all had guns. I mean, Cindy, when I got together with her, she had rifles and shotguns. But he gave them guns because he was that survivalist individual. He grew up in a wild atmosphere. He grew up in Oklahoma. He grew up in an oil wildcatting family. Pretty heavy, pretty wild. Survival sometimes. If you hit a well, great. If you don't, you're tightening the belt up. You got to learn to take care of yourself. You see? Take care of yourself. Because you're the one that you got to depend on. You've got to protect yourself. Know how to protect yourself so that you can survive. So these are the qualities that he was imparting to all his kids. And you know what? I bet he thought he was doing a real good job, don't you? And wasn't he doing a good job from the way he was growing up? And that's what he was shown as a child, and that's the life he lived. And so that's what he knew. That was his truth within, that he could impart to his kids. Good story, isn't it? And look at how wonderful Cindy turned out. Nice.
I want to know if her aim was accurate.
Hey, take her to the carnival. We'll get some stuffed animals.
She went over.
So my dad, I'll tell you a little bit about my dad. I grew up in a big family. There were 8 kids. I've got 6 sisters and 1 brother. And wow, it's all relative. So as I got older, I got to really respect what he did more and more and more. When you're young, you kind of don't see that. But my dad was a child of the Depression. Both my grandparents came over on the boat from Germany and Poland, and as young children, and then my parents were born here. They're first generation Americans. And so they came through the Depression. And so that's their mindset, and he grew up in that. And so what my father tried to impart to all of us children was that work was good. At a very young age, it was like always working. I grew up in Michigan, so in the winter I was shoveling snow. Not only ours, but hey, go down and shovel all the little widows' sidewalks and stuff. You get like 25 cents. That was really a lot of money back then. Or in the fall, raking leaves. You're in that. Go do those too. Oh, thank you. And in the spring, weeding the garden, trimming the roses, just working all the time. Because you see, growing up through the Depression, people didn't have jobs. People didn't have jobs. It was hard. And if you could get a job and keep a job, you could provide for your family and do a good job. And so it was really neat. So, I'm not seeing it when I'm a kid, how important work is. because I wanted to play all the time. But one thing about my dad, he believed in that work ethic. But when I got a little older and I wanted to get a job, I think I just didn't want to work at home, I wanted to get out and make some money or something. But he said, no, he didn't want none of us kids to get jobs like when we're going through high school and growing up and everything. He said, you're going to have your whole life to work. And he wanted us to kind of enjoy childhood a little bit, in our unique way. And then once again, so I didn't see that. I'm going, man, I want to make a little cash flow here going. He said, no, you don't need to. I was making, 25 cents and $1 shoveling sidewalks, so I didn't really need to make too much money, I guess. But so he tried to impart to me and to us children the importance of work, but also the importance of relaxing and enjoying life, kind of the ebb and flow of life. And even though he drove a gasoline tanker for Sunoco, it's a northern gas station. They're starting to come down south. And so he'd get up early every morning, he'd go to work and just around Michigan, so he'd be home every night. But he worked real hard and supported 10 people, but he liked to go fishing. And in the summertime, every Saturday morning, we're packing a car Friday night. There's a lot of lakes up in Michigan. And we just get up early so we could go and drive to the lake like at 4:30 in the morning, 5 o'clock, and to go fishing. That was his piece. You're getting out on the water, it's dark, no one's there, he can just go out fishing. And this is really cool. I like to go fishing, and so I really want to go fishing. And my brother, he's 5 years older than me, and he is super outdoors guy. Hunting, fishing, the whole thing. I really never was into that lifestyle. And so here we're all loaded up in our station wagon. We get out to the lake, get the boat in the water and everything. All the girls, they're just crashing out in the car. They don't want to go fishing. So me and my brother and my dad get the boat in and everything. And so, okay, Patrick, you get to stay on shore. Patrick, you get to stay on shore. I want to go fishing. I guess I was too young. I would have made too much noise in the boat or whatever. And it's like, holy mackerel. I'm getting up this early in the morning and I want to go fishing. I got to stay on the shore. Oh, you can fish from shore. It's better to fish on a boat, trust me. So I got over it after a couple times, because I really enjoyed my private and quiet time on the lake. No one's there, and it's a small little fishing lake, and there's all these boats lined up along the shore with a chained up here and a chain at the back, because people just leave them there all week. It wasn't like today. Boats were just wooden boats. It wasn't a big deal. And so I'd get to all by myself. Everybody's sleeping. It's early. They're out fishing. I just fish and shore. Then when the sun came up, I could push the boat and see all the little fish underneath them and try to grab them and crawfish and things like this. And it was just a time to explore, and it was like my quiet time and my private time. So I really loved it. And then, so one morning they said, hey, you want to come out? And I go, oh, okay. So my dad's in the back with the motorists, and my brother's up front, and they put me in the middle. Not the best place, you see? And then, that's where the oars are too. And it's like, they find this beautiful shoreline with trees over it where all the big bass are hanging out. Okay, Patrick, just go real slow. Don't make a splash or don't make noise. Oh, get us in a little closer. Oh, too close. Get us out. They're fishing. Needless to say, I did that one time. No, I love the shore. So I got over that, and because I was being fed who Patrick is. I'm a solitary Pisces person. I love just getting out and just communing, and water is one of my big time elements. So I was really getting blessed, and then I got to really understand how important it was for him to have his quiet time. I mean, he's the house with 7 women and 2 more guys. He needs some peace too. You know, I was like, oh, this is really neat. And you know what? In as much responsibility that he had, you know, I'm sure people probably could have looked at him and said, you know, you could probably work more hours. Or why don't you work on the weekends or things like that? But he knew it was important for him to have that ebb of life also. He was a Pisces also, and he was a real gentle soul, but he had this shell on, you know, to protect his vulnerability. And but what he tried to impart to us, and what I got was that ebb and flow of life. And I'm a hard worker. I'm a great worker. I have been all my life. I'm not afraid of work, you know. But I like my days off. I'm going to take my days off, and I'll get away by myself a lot. I'll go fishing a lot of times by myself. And it's not about catching fish. It's being out by myself, because that feeds me. It feeds my soul, you know. And I learned how important that was. And you know, on a conscious level, I don't think my dad was trying to teach me that. It was kind of like just his energy coming out. And Cindy's dad was trying to teach their family, you know, hey, you got to look out for yourself. You know, you got to be able to protect yourself if you want to survive. He was a survivalist, you know.